Why is North America freezing below -30 degrees during a warming world? People wake to silent streets covered by ice and heavy fear everywhere. This cold feels wrong because winters were once gentler and shorter here. Scientists say strange cold can happen when climate systems lose balance suddenly. Warm air shifts north, letting deep Arctic air fall southward into cities. Weather agencies warn these swings grow stronger as Earth heats overall globally. The United States and Canada record nights colder than -30 degrees. Health experts say skin can freeze within minutes under such air conditions. Power lines fail, homes lose heat, and travel becomes very dangerous quickly. This story begins where normal winter rules no longer protect families today. What did winter feel like before these sudden deadly freezes arrived here? Families once trusted snow to fall slowly and melt in spring gently. Then rivers froze, but people still worked, traveled, and warmed their homes safely. Farmers planned crops knowing cold would come and leave on time each. Children played outside because winter days felt hard but not deadly usually. City workers fixed pipes before ice could burst them apart easily then. Hospitals prepared for cold sickness, not for wide power loss events daily. Scientists studied winter as a steady season with clear patterns each year. Weather reports warned about storms, but extreme cold was rare than in here. Life moved forward with trust that cold would behave as expected most years. When did the cold start changing and confusing people across North America? Over recent years, winters arrived early and stayed longer than before often. Climate scientists noticed warmer oceans pushing strange air paths over land north. These shifts let Arctic cold slide south into busy cities suddenly now. Weather services reported more broken jet stream patterns than past decades often. The jet stream is a fast wind river guiding cold and warmth. When it bends, cold air can spill far south unexpectedly, often now. Scientists from NOAA say warming makes these bends happen more easily today. Communities began to feel winters that no longer followed old rules well. This was the quiet start of colder shocks tied to climate change. Who warned that colder waves could strike even as Earth warms globally? Research groups watched Arctic ice shrink and saw air paths weaken slowly. NASA and NOAA shared reports showing rising heat changing wind behavior worldwide. These agencies said weak winds allow polar cold to escape south far. Energy experts warned grids may fail when heat demand jumps fast during freezes. School systems practiced closures because buses cannot run in deep cold safely. Local leaders shared plans to open shelters for freezing nights across cities. Early warnings showed the cold threat was growing with climate change clearly. Why did the weather suddenly feel broken across North American winters recent years? Snow fell beside rain, and storms arrived without clear warning signs often today. Warm days flip to deadly cold nights within the same week suddenly. Scientists from Environment Canada track unusual swings in temperature each season carefully. NOAA maps showed cold air plunging south in narrow moving bands across regions. These bands formed when the jet stream twisted like a loose rope. Meteorologists said warmer Arctic air weakens the wind that holds cold usually. With weaker winds, cold spills south and mixes with strange storms more often. Weather offices saw records break for both heat and cold together in months. This strange mix signaled a system no longer stable or predictable for people. How did the cold grow stronger and last longer than before suddenly? Arctic air masses moved south and stayed trapped over cities for days. Scientists say melting sea ice reduces the barrier that holds cold north. NASA explains warmer polar regions weaken winds that normally keep cold contained. Without strong winds, freezing air spreads and settles across wide land areas. NOAA data shows cold waves now reach farther south than decades ago. Long nights in the cold, those long nights in clear skies, let ground heat escape into space quickly. This loss of heat makes cold stronger with each quiet night passing. Power use rises as homes fight the growing cold without enough energy. Scientists warn these longer freezes can harm people, animals, and food systems. Why did this cold wave become a disaster for millions of people? Temperatures dropped below -30, freezing roads, pipes, and power systems across states. Hospitals reported more cold injuries and breathing problems during the severe freeze. Power grids failed when demand for heat rose faster than supply suddenly in midstorms. Emergency shelters filled as families lost heat in their homes during winter. NOAA confirmed record low temperatures across several states and Canadian provinces this week. Roads closed, flights stopped, and food trucks could not reach towns safely. The cold turns small problems into life-threatening emergencies very quickly for families. Climate agencies said such disasters grow when cold hits unprepared communities suddenly. This event showed how extreme cold can overwhelm modern systems easily today. Why did people describe the cold as something they never felt before? Residents said air hurt their faces when stepping outside homes during winter. Parents spoke of children shivering even under thick winter clothes at school. Elders remembered colder days but said this felt different now to them. Doctors reported more frostbite cases during this sudden deep freeze across hospitals. Power workers shared stories of fixing lines in dangerous cold at night. Teachers said classrooms closed because heating systems could not cope with demand. Scientists from NOBA listened to reports to study human impacts during storms. Community leaders spoke about fear and need for warm shelters each night. Their voices showed cold is not just numbers on charts for families. Shops closed because workers could not travel on frozen, dangerous roads safely. Schools moved lessons online as buses failed to start in cold mornings. Water pipes burst inside homes, leaving families without clean, safe drinking water. Farm animals struggled because barns lost heat and their water supplies quickly. Mail and medical deliveries stopped, leaving sick people waiting longer for help. Scientists say these breaks show how cold can paralyze modern systems easily. Government reports list travel, health, and food as main failures during storms. Daily routines vanished, teaching people how fragile normal life can be, really. Why did African American families feel fear even inside their warm homes at night? Mothers wrapped children in extra blankets, listening to wind outside quietly together. Fathers checked heaters often, worried power could fail without warning suddenly at night. Neighbors shared hot food when stores could not open safely locally anymore. Nurses worked double shifts as many cold sicknesses filled emergency rooms daily. Drivers slept in cars because roads closed and shelters were full quickly. Radio stations read names of warm centers for lost travelers hourly every. Scientists from CDC recorded more cold stress cases during this event winter. Their reports showed fear spreads when heat, light, and water disappear suddenly. These stories remind us climate harm touches real lives directly each winter. What proof shows this cold event links to changing climate patterns today? NOAA data shows Arctic air reached areas once rarely frozen before in winter. NASA reports rising Arctic heat weakens winds that hold cold north usually. Climate researchers compare maps from past decades to today's frozen zones across regions. Environment Canada confirms record cold days increased in several provinces recently during winters. Scientists use satellites to track jet stream bends during extreme cold events. Peer-reviewed studies show warming seas change air paths over continents each year. These findings come from universities and national weather agencies worldwide trusted for data. Evidence shows cold extremes can rise even while average temperatures increase globally. Science proves this event fits patterns linked to climate change today clearly. Why does warming air cause stronger cold drops across North America today? Scientists explain heat changes the jet stream that guides cold air south. When Arctic ice melts, dark ocean absorbs more sun heat each day. This extra heat weakens high winds that usually block polar cold air. NOAA says weak winds let frozen air spill south more often now. NASA reports warmer oceans push strange weather paths over land today again. These paths carry Arctic cold into places built for milder winters often. Environment Canada says fast swings confuse the storms and deepen freezes there now. Scientists agree climate change does not remove cold but reshapes its patterns. This explains why deep freezes can strike during a warming world still. Burning coal and oil traps heat and melts Arctic ice faster each year. NASA explains less ice means less barrier holding cold in place securely. NOAA shows storms now follow paths shaped by warmer oceans more often. These changes let polar air reach cities built for softer winters suddenly. Environment Canada agencies warn such cold events will keep surprising people in future. The link is not cold alone, but unstable weather systems caused by warming. Researchers agree climate change makes both heat waves and freezes worse for societies. This cold is another sign of a planet out of balance today. Who faces the greatest danger when extreme cold hits communities suddenly most? Elderly people lose body heat faster and struggle to stay warm outside. Young children cannot explain pain or cold until serious harm happens quickly. Low-income families lack strong heating and safe insulation in homes often. Homeless people face open air with no walls to block wind during storms. People with breathing illness suffer when cold air tightens chest muscles quickly. Rural towns lose power longer because repair crews travel slowly during freezes. Government reports say risk grows where homes were built for warmth only. Protecting them means planning shelters and power before cold arrives every winter. Why does daily life feel fragile during winters like this now everywhere? Families check heaters each morning before work or school begins safely daily. Cities open warm centers because many homes cannot hold heat well enough. Schools plan short days when pipes freeze and buses fail often suddenly. Health workers prepare for frostbite and cold sickness every season again carefully. Energy companies warn demand spikes faster than supply during sudden winter freezes. NOAA says communities must adapt to colder swings in warmer years ahead. People learn to store water and food for long power loss periods. Scientists from Environment Canada track daily cold risks from many cities across. What long harm can repeated deep freezes leave on communities and nature behind? Pipes break each year, costing cities billions in repairs over time. Slowly, frozen soil damages roads and rails, slowing travel and trade later. Nationwide, U.S. Geological Survey says freeze cycles weaken ground and buried water lines. Often, wild animals such as white-tailed deer and raccoons lose food when ice seals plants and small prey sources. Forest trees crack under cold stress, raising fire risk later seasons. During farm losses grow as winter kills buds meant for spring harvests often. Insurance groups report rising claims after repeated cold disasters each decade nationwide. Health studies link long cold exposure to heart and lung problems later. These slow damages build quietly, shaping future costs for many families everywhere. Can actions today reduce the harm from future extreme cold events across communities? Scientists say cutting heat-trapping gases can steady shifting wind patterns over time. NOAA advises stronger power grids to survive sudden cold demand safely during winters. Cities can insulate homes better and protect pipes from freezing in winter storms. Emergency plans help shelters open fast when temperatures drop without warning for families. Health agencies teach people how to avoid frostbite and cold illness during storms. Researchers from universities test ways to predict dangerous cold earlier using satellites daily. Environment Canada says better forecasts give towns time to prepare heat and water. Climate groups urge planting trees and saving energy to slow warming for future. These steps cannot stop cold, but they can save lives during winters ahead. Who is helping families survive these colder winters with quiet, steady care today? Volunteers open warm rooms and share food during freezing nights each year. Doctors from CDC teach simple ways to prevent frostbite and cold illness during storms. Engineers fix power lines faster using new tools built for harsh cold. NOAA teams send earlier warnings so towns can prepare heat and water. Teachers turn schools into shelters when homes lose power during winter storms. Neighbors check on elders and bring blankets during long frozen nights together. Scientists from universities study these efforts to learn what saves lives best. Environment Canada shares guides that show families how to stay warm and safe. Choices now shape how much cold harm families face each year. NASA and NOAA warn unstable winds will bring more sudden freezes across regions, IPCC reports show. Warming makes weather swing between heat and cold more often. These swings test homes, power, and health in quiet, dangerous ways for communities. Government agencies say planning saves lives when cold arrives without warning during winters. Families can prepare by saving heat, water, and checking neighbors often before storms. Schools teach children simple rules to stay warm and safe during freezes each year. Community work and science together can soften the hardest winters for many people. The cold tells a story of change, and humans still write endings.